And joining me now is CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair. Good morning, Tom.
Good to see you, Renee.
You too. So much to talk about. Perhaps let's start with the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what we're seeing play out there. How do they move forward?
It's difficult. I think that Mr. Poilievre is going to survive as leader. Given the result on Monday, it would be very difficult to understand if he didn't, because he got more votes than any Conservative leader since Brian Mulroney, and it was quite an accomplishment. You know, a year ago, the NDP and the Liberals together, Singh and Trudeau, had set a trap for the Poilievre Conservatives. They were bringing in anti-scab legislation, something the Liberals had never shown the slightest interest in, but was wrapped in the deal that Singh had made with Trudeau. They were sure that, of course, that the Conservatives would vote against it. Poilievre had sufficient ascendancy over his caucus to say, we are voting for this. Now, I got it on very good authority that there was a lot of rumbling within caucus. A lot of people were uncomfortable with it, but Poilievre was their new leader. He was doing well, and they went along with it. Well, that proved to be an incredibly good move by Poilievre. So he has the ability to see deep into the game, because what that produced as a result was that in the industrial areas, especially southwestern Ontario, think of a city like Windsor, with its strong auto sector, NDP MPs, really respected, like Brian Massey, who'd been there for 23 years, just swept aside by this massive blue wave that Poilievre had put together by showing interest in and support for workers. So the union leaders had told everybody, oh, no, you're going to vote NDP. And the workers were showing up for Poilievre's meeting. So that's a sea change in Canadian politics, and it shouldn't be underestimated if he's able to hold on to that. And I also think that Poilievre and Scheer should do one thing differently than what they're doing now, is stop saying that he's staying and start saying he hopes he gets the members' confidence. It's up to the members to decide that. I know about that because I've been through it. It's not an easy process, but he's got to have that simple modesty to say, I'm going to allow my members to decide that, and I hope to keep their confidence when they look at and analyze the overall results. There's a lot of criticism of the campaign. What we thought was a rift that had been that disappeared with the creation of the Conservative Party between the old progressive Conservatives of Mulroney and the Conservatives, it hasn't gone away. All you have to do is listen to the premiers of Nova Scotia and Ontario to know that. Poilievre has got to do something he never likes to do. Instead of blowing up bridges, he's got to be a bridge builder. He's got to reach out. He's got to learn how to work with a premier of the caliber and the respect and the strength of Doug Ford, and one of the strength and character of Tim Houston. And if he can't do that, then he won't be able to stick around, because his members will say, well, you're never going to be elected Prime Minister of Canada.
We have to also talk about Mark Carney and Donald Trump, this upcoming meeting that is happening between them. It sounds like soon. What do you think they'll be discussing?
Well, obviously, they're going to be discussing tariffs and the negotiation of a third trade deal, because, of course, we had the North American Free Trade Agreement, the famous NAFTA, that Trump said was no good. He wrote his own agreement, and then he didn't respect that one. Now he wants us to sign a new agreement. We'll do it in good faith, but the problem is, of course, Mr. Trump is constantly in bad faith. He invented the problem of fentanyl as a way of avoiding the trade deal that he had himself signed, has mused about the 51st state. It's going to be a bit tricky for Carney. I think that he's got more than enough experience and expertise to be able to navigate this one. I'm going to be looking for one thing, Renee, whether Carney is going to take the invitation that's always given to sit in that seat. We saw Keir Starmer. We saw the British, Prime Minister sit in that seat and hand over a letter from King Charles, and everybody's supposed to come and suck up to Donald Trump. And then sometimes it gives the experience that we saw with Trump and J.D. Vance and Zelensky, and it was a horrible show. And so they control that stage, and I think it would be extraordinarily well advised for Carney not to take part in that photo op. Have his meetings with Trump, say these are existential issues for both our countries and both our economies, and we're going to continue to work seriously behind closed doors. Something to that effect. Maybe meet the journalists standing up with a microphone, something like that. But this sit-down thing where Trump controls the room and he controls the tone and he controls everything, I think that was a mistake for a lot of leaders to get involved in that. Trump continues to play that card. I think that Carney should show that he's not going to be sucked into that by Trump. So we'll see whether or not he does.
Certainly no one wants another Oval Office showdown. Tom, we'll have to leave it there. That is our time. Thank you very much for being here as always.
All the best.
You too. That's CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair.